Today, I'll be giving a feminist literary critique of Kate Chopin's The Story of an Ark. This short story may be brief, but it gives a powerful look into the life of a woman who finally experiences freedom, only to have it taken aback in an instant. Using the feminist lens, we can understand the deeper message Chopin presents about marriage, female identity, and the silent struggles of women during the 19th century. The feminist approach examines how literature portrays women, how society restricts them, and how power operates in the gender roles. Through this perspective, we analyze how Mallard, our main character, is shaped not only by her marriage but the patriarchal system she lives in. The story becomes a critique of how women were expected to quietly accept their roles as wives regardless of their personal desires, ambitions, or emotional needs. Under this approach, the story is not simply about a woman's reaction to her husband's death. It is about a woman confronting the truth of her own oppression. During Chopin time, women had limited rights. They couldn't vote, had little control over property, and society expected them to remain at home, serving their husbands and families. Marriage was seen as a woman's destiny, not a choice. This societal context is essential to understanding Louise Mallard. She isn't just one woman. She represents the countless of women who lived under the strict expectations of obedience, gentleness, and silence. When Louise reacts with her unexpected joy after her husband's reported death, Chopin is making a bold statement. The institution of marriage, no matter how kind the husband may be, was still a cage for many women. What makes the story revolutionary is Louise's emotional transformation. At first, she reacts with grief because that is what society taught her to do. But once she is alone, away from the eyes of others, something changes. She whispers the words, "free, free, free." This moment is the heart of the feminist critic. Louise is not celebrating Bentley's death. Instead, she is celebrating the idea finally living for herself. For the first time, she imagines a future where her life is not shaped by someone else's will. Her joy reveals a reality of many women of her era could not say out loud, that marriage is often meant losing one's identity. Louise sees freedom not as a selfish desire, but as a rebirth of her own humanity. Through the feminist lens, we see that Chopin's critiques the power of imbalance in marriage. Bentley Mallard is described as a kind and loving. But that doesn't matter. Even a gentle husband benefits from a system that gives him the authority and the right to shape his wife's life. Louise's life, routines, thoughts, and decisions were tied to her role as a wife. She was expected to be submissive, loyal, and emotionally selfless. The feminist point here is very clear. First is that the issue is not Bentley as a person. The issue here is a marriage system itself. Louise Joy shows that even the good marriages can erase a woman's autonomy. Marriage becomes a symbol of how society takes down a woman in freedom and discusses it as a love or duty. The story is filled with symbols that reflect Louise's awakening from oppression. First is the open window. This represents a new possibilities, a life beyond patriarchal limits. Second is the blue sky and the song of birds, symbolizes hope, renewal, and rebirth. Her rising heartbeat. This signals excitement, not fear, and the body responding to liberation. And the locked room. This basically represents a private place where a woman can finally think for herself. This symbol emphasizes that freedom for women often exists only in private, hidden moments and never fully granted by the society. The ending is the most powerful statement of all. When Brantley Mallard walks through the doors alive, Louise's newfound freedom instantly collapses. The future she imagined disappears. The life she hoped for, one where she couldn't be her own person, is taken back in a single moment. Her death, called by the doctor "the joy that kills," is actually a feminist statement that she didn't die of joy. She died because the return of patriarchy was too painful, too overwhelming, too tragic to endure. Her heart, which had opened to freedom for the first time, could not bear the shock of losing it. Under the feminist approach, the story of an hour becomes a powerful critique of how the society restricts the women. It shows that women, even those in the happy marriages, may feel trapped by the expectation they cannot express. Even today, the story resonates in the conversation about women's independence, emotional labor in relationships, and the pressure to fulfill the gender roles. The need for personal space and identity. Louise Mallard's brief moment of liberation reminds us that as a woman, desire for autonomy is not selfish, it is a human. Using the feminist lens, the story of an hour is more than a tale of life and death. It is a bold declaration of women's right to freedom. Kate Chopin gives us a character who, in 1 hour, experiences the deepest truth about many women of her time, could never speak. That independence, it is essential as love, and that life controlled by social expectation can feel like a quiet imprisonment. Louise Mallard's story is tragic, but it shines a light of the hidden struggles of many women. Making this short, the story is incredibly powerful, revolutionary, and timeless.